We will go live. What? I think we're. Sorry, viewers, if anyone can hear us right now. Yeah, I think we're all live. Guys, I am so sorry about that start. I have no idea where that roll has gone, but yeah. Anyway, welcome to the preview show. Let's not tell any of the other guys that is how it started. I won't be able to clip it, but anyway, no. Thank you guys all for joining tonight's preview show. It's just myself from the Wanderers side, and I'm joined by Ed from the Burton side. Ed, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. How are you doing yourself?
Yes, not too bad. Excited to get into this preview ahead of a lovely Tuesday night fixture. It's nice to have this. Nice to have this one at home. I think a lot of Bolton fans are used to going away to Burton on a cold Tuesday night and getting done over. So it's nice to have it the other way around. Hopefully,
not sure that happens as often as you think. Okay.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, let's get into it, and we'll go into the season so far, and let's see if I can get this mid roll on properly. Cool. So, right, Ed, thank you for your time tonight. Obviously, representing Burton for us. Could you just give us, an overview of the season, sat in 20th above the drop zone, and how things have gone? Is it what you've expected? Has it kind of been a bit of a roller coaster?
Well, 20th has been our last two finishes, so I suppose we'd have to say yes. It's going as expected where they are in the table. I've found this league really annoying this year. You guys have been away from it at the top end, but have you ever checked the bottom half of this table, how congested it is?
Yeah,
it's really irritating to me because we keep drawing back to last season. Last season was a case of a terrible first half, a really good second half that recovered and got them out of it. It's not been the case this that they've been more competitive throughout it and kicked off with a win at the start of August, and they've always just kind of kept themselves flirting around sort of 20th to 22nd position, somewhere around there, occasionally going a little bit higher with the string a couple of wins together. This time last year, we were on almost half the number of points we have now. And I just feel like a team that's doing almost twice as well as it was this time last year should be doing better than sitting sort of 20th place just because this table's so congested. I mean, it was 1 point per game average last year to keep yourselves up. This year, there's teams at 1 point per game are currently in the bottom four. So it's weird. It's irritating. It leaves things a bit uncomfortable. I was hoping for a bit more comfort this year to be kind of comfortable mid-table, but I don't think comfortable mid-table exists in this league. It's just kind of you're either in the top six battle or staring down the bottom four at the moment. So we just keep ticking by. We think the targets this year is going to be somewhere around 52, 53. So another 20 odd worth points. That'll be fine. Just keep ticking over at the moment. It's a rough period of fixtures the end of this month. We've had others still. We've got Cardiff to come the weekend after yourselves. We've just played away at Lincoln. So get what points we can from these, then go into February and have a proper go at it.
Yeah, I was looking at your fixtures actually, and yeah, obviously I know you're not on the best run if you take that Boreham Wood result out of it in the league. And yeah, you have got some tough games. I think you've got Stockport as well, don't you, in that run before the end of Feb. So are you seeing tomorrow as kind of a let's come and get a point, or you think Gary will be coming looking to snatch three, similar to how Mansfield did over Christmas?
Well, historically, I haven't bothered with Bolton away because I just know we're going to barely get our own half. Bolton away has been an ordeal for both sets of fans, I'd say. We've not come to try and play historically against you guys, and you've not enjoyed coming up against us because we've been extremely stubborn and very hard to break down, and you have ultimately beaten us the last two times, so it's always felt like a bit of a waste of time for us. We just come there to defend and basically wait to get beaten, which has just always been a bit irritating. First time we are coming in with Bowyer, which does make me wonder a little bit different. It's not in his psyche to go super defensive, home or away. We've had some really good away wins this season. We've won away at Cardiff. We've won away at Bradford. We gave Lincoln a real good go on Thursday. Some top sides. I'd like to think we go a little bit more, but I'm not going to hold myself to that because I just know how, I know the perception of you guys fans when we come over, you start groaning but thinking, oh, God, deal with these again. 10 men behind the ball and all the other things going in between. I hope Bowyer tries a bit more adventurous than that, but all the same, I think we just want to pull through this fixture. And if we can come up with a point, that'd be fantastic for us.
Yeah, I think most Bolton fans would be expecting the same kind of game that we know we get from teams in the bottom half of the league. Kind of come to frustrate because once our fans start to get on the back of the players, it's it's an uphill battle, and obviously that kind of just plays into your hands. So hopefully that's not the case for us. How are you seeing, your style of play this season? I know you've had a mixture of kind of getting out wide and getting the crosses in, but also being quite direct from the back. Do you think he'll mix it up or stick to one of those two?
No, it's the Bowyer approach, really. I think it's why we've done quite well in the away games generally, with very no nonsense, quite like counter attacking. We don't like having possession. The best way to beat Burton, honestly, is to give us the ball and force us to break you down, which we just can't do. So it's quite suits being away because the home team's got more expectations and need to play. So we could just sit in a little bit, hit you on the break, make use of the assets we've got in forward areas, and exploit either a set piece or one of the counter-attack opportunities to get some points, as has been the case with away games this season. So it's quite a nonsense. I mean, Burton fans aren't really picky about style play. We just like the ball getting into the box and into the net. So whatever method works for us. And Bowie's been able to do that. The thing that I like most about him compared to some previous managers is he actually puts people in the right positions. I just think about some Burton teams over the last 2 years, and we played like a back five where the five are basically all centre-backs at heart, and it just looked really clunky and awkward. He plays proper wing-backs in wing-back positions now, and you do notice the difference with it.
Yeah, I can imagine you see those wing backs bombing forward and have a bit more confidence when they get the ball than you have over the previous seasons. How do you think your defensive kind of structure will set up tomorrow? Do you think Bolton will find gaps, or do you think, when you counter attack, does the team tend to commit men forward, or is it they're very clever in the way that it's done, and that they know not to overcommit, especially away from home? So if you take Cardiff, for example, or Bradford, those wins, was it a structured approach to the attack and the counter attack, or was it more of a kind of gung ho, free flowing attack?
Cardiff was extremely smash and grab. I think they outshot us about 20-1 or something like that. We had one opportunity late on. We launched a throw into the box, it dropped down, and then Charlie Webster had 3 attempts at shooting and eventually stuck one in the corner. Bradford, we just perfect at the end of the first half, grabbed a quick thigh double, just kind of dug into the second half, and apart from giving away a penalty, it was almost perfect defensively. The slight worry at the minute, we're quite patched up, particularly at the back. So a couple of the guys who probably be considered starters in this team, Alex Hartridge at left centre-back, currently still recovering from stitches. He had a really nasty head collision on New Year's Day at Plymouth Argyle. I don't think he's back yet, but he's quite close. He's in training, but they still got to get the stitches out before he can probably get back into it. The centre of the back line at a point was one of our own academy players, Stindalap. He's been injured since the first start of the season. Might be Terence Van Kooten there, might be Toby Sibic in there. There's the option of Doku Goban-Malithe. There's a few options. I'm not quite sure yet what the starting back line is. Particularly that left centre back could be a right footer out there when we really want a left footer. So bit of flexibility with it, and if they get dragged out of position like Huddersfield did for their equaliser a couple of weeks back, there's a chance you can exploit us.
Yeah, I think just to speak a bit of Bolton, I know it's just me, guys, so there's not really anyone else to ask. I think it'll be interesting to see how we approach the game. We've been going a bit more direct to Sam Dalby recently, and with Kozia Dewberry now, out for the next 8 to 10 weeks. That's a massive blow to us. Albeit he's not necessarily had the impact he did at the start of the season. I know a lot of people come on the preview and would swap him out when we get to that section for one of your players. But it'll be interesting to see how we approach it, because I'm sure that you'll be very resolute in your setup and put the pressure on Bolton to find those gaps and kind of make the mistake so you can kind of pounce. It'd just be interesting to see how Bolton come out, because we've struggled of late, I think, to create clear-cut chances. So if we don't score early, or at least get on top in the first 10-15, I think you'll see a very moany and groany Reebok, which is never good for Bolton, but it'll only benefit you, as I said earlier. Let's get into the stat man, who will give us his view on how he sees the game going, and then we'll come back to discuss the injury updates for both sides.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Get Stats On with the Stat Man, and today we're of course going to preview the game against Burton Albion in the midweek. We love a bit of midweek football, do we not? So let's get straight into it, shall we? Now, Burton Albion usually set up in a 3-5-2 formation. We have had a couple of times this season where opposition have changed how they play against you because it's you, but I reckon they're probably going to do the same thing, because why would you change now? Either way, if they do play the back three, which I'm expecting them to, it's going to look more like a back five than the back three. They will sit off. They will not press dead high. And it will be a 5-3-2 rather than a 3-5-2, if you know what I'm saying. They are 19th in the league for average possession with just 44.2% this season. So you will dominate the ball, which of course raises itself to that back five, 3 midfielders and 2 forwards. But it does also raise a couple of questions. Number 1, what formation will you play? Because that has been a bit of a mix and match of late. Who replaces Mr. Mario Kosciuszko? Because we're hearing reports he's going to be out for at least a little while. And number 3, who starts up top? Big questions. Now, to answer those questions, I think you have to go with a 4-2-3-1. Do you not? Especially given that they're playing a back five. Yes, if you played a back five, you'd match them up a bit, so you'd be a bit more stable out of possession. But that should not be your concern at home on a Tuesday night against 20th place in the league, should it? You just got to attack and attack with numbers. So you play the back four, 4-2-3-1, and everyone likes to attack with a front five, don't they? But no, you're going to attack with a front six. Let's go for it, eh? Get up. So you'd have the 2 wingers, probably tucking in a bit, but they can swap and whatever. Striker, number 10, and both fullbacks can join as well. And you've still got the safety square, which just means 2 centre-backs and the 2 central midfielders. Forms a box, and it's just good for retaining possession when the opposition clears the lines. It's a very common tactic. But anyway, that is one option. Another option we'll come on to in just a sec, but it's probably not going to happen. Anyway, Josh Sheehan's creativity will be crucial in this game because, of course, you've not been great at breaking down low blocks, have you? And it sounds like Burton are going to play one. So that's not ideal. But Burton also rank 4th for interceptions per match this season with 8.5. So just even more you need Josh Sheehan, because who is good at playing those line-breaking passes? Oh, let's think. It's Josh Sheehan. He blooming loves them, and he can ping it wide, and he can play it for the middle, and he knows when to keep the ball as well. He's a very, very good player, is he not? In fact, Sheehan has actually made 942 passes this season, which seems like quite a lot, with an accuracy of 87.3%. And we know he's quite a creative player, and he does not play it safe most of the time. So those numbers are pretty ridiculous, if you ask me. But we're hearing reports. How true those reports are, we don't know. But we are hearing reports. He might not be staying. So, and if that is the case, he's probably not going to play, is he? So what's the solution then? Well, let's go to the tactics board. Now, let me start off with this by saying this is quite unlikely. But with Kosciuszko's injury and Sheehan potentially being off, and we've heard reports of Morley as well, I can see it happening, so why not? This is my team for Tuesday night. It's what I do. 4-4-2. And you may not expect that from the Statman, but the Statman quite likes a 4-4-2. And we've also set Burton up, and pretty much how they're going to sit off, I reckon. Back five is very narrow, as you can see. We've got people on your 2 forwards and 2 central midfielders on your central midfielders, and their 2 strikers sitting in between the gaps, the passing lanes, if you will, in between the centre-backs and the centre-mid. So who are your spare men right now? You've got your right back, which is probably going to be Christie for this game, with OC22 on the right, I'd assume. And you've got your left back, Conway. So what do you do to make the better players higher up the pitch, the 3 men? Well, what I do is move Arajon back, but that's not going to happen. Let's be somewhat realistic, shall we? I'd say you tuck the left back in, Johnston moves into the middle, and whoever's the right centre-back is moves over that way. And Christie joins the attack, and OC22 cuts in a bit. Okay? Other striker moves central. This one drops off a bit. You can imagine that one's going to be Burstow, because he's going to drop off. I nearly sneezed then. My bad. Let's keep going. And now, you've got this back 3. And you may notice that 3 is more than 2, isn't it? So when you're progressing the ball from the build-up area, it's going to be a bit easier, because if they're not going to press that much, but there comes a point where if you're just walking forwards, they kind of have to, don't they? So let's say the middle centre back, which we'll call Johnston, because I'd like it to be Johnson because of his passing range. Let's say he's got the ball, and let's say the left striker for Burton is the one who presses. He's probably going to try to cut off this pass to the right centre back, meaning this guy has got to push on whoever that midfielder is, probably Simons, and he'll make this sort of cut and run. But Sheen's got a good passing range, hasn't he? And we've still got this free man here. Is this centre back going to push on that free man? No, they're not. So he can drop off there. Johnston's got that type of passing him. Easy, no doubt about that. And if he doesn't, well, maybe Simons makes a drop and run, and suddenly there's a lot of space there and he can just pass it forwards. Simple as. And if you've got Burstow playing on this side instead, if he's playing as the right striker, then he can drop off into that sort of space as well. And you may notice that means someone else from the Burton system has got to jump. Let's say it'll probably be this midfielder, the number 6. And again, that leaves a free man open. There's a pass on to that striker. Is that centre-back going to get dead high? If he does, massive gap there for this striker to run into. I'm aware there's a lot of lines on the screen. Let's get rid of some. But that does leave a humongous gap, doesn't it, in central defence. And if he doesn't jump, you got time on the ball. Play it wide, put it in the box. Simple as. And again, I'm sure that's probably not going to happen because that's far too sensible. Why would you play a system that works? You're not going to do that, are you? Let's be fair. But that's what I do. And I thought I'd share my take because I don't always do it, but why not? Schumacher liked to copy at the start of the season, so why not, eh? He's not going to copy it again. But I'll leave you there. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the show, and I'm sure I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Ed, I know you have a little giggle through that. What do you make of the Statman's approach to the game?
Well, no doubt he's actually kind of right with his points that I think midfield movements could be really key to this. And I'd love the excuse for Josh Sheehan to not appear on that pitch. That would be a bit of confidence boost as the team sheets came out with Thoran, because I think he's awesome. Just absolutely love him. He has got to factor in that Jake Beasley spends half the game as an additional centre back because Beasley is just a Duracell bunny that just covers all areas in the team. So he can somehow be the focal point striker and also end up being another defender if we have a lead, for instance. But yeah, I imagine it'll be a very cautious shape for ourselves largely, and it will be about yourselves breaking us down. And you will find it actually can work a lot better than you think. It's not just a case of needing to get it into central areas. If you work it wide and find the right deliveries, I think there's a chance you can break through it.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue we have tomorrow is trying to work out who is going to start for the Wanderers, because there's been a lot of noise, a lot of in the nose spreading different rumours and being picked up by different people online. This is a late stage of January. So let's get into the injury update and we'll discuss how we think both teams will line up. So, Ed, you mentioned there was a bit of an injury crisis for Burton. How do you see you guys lining up? Do you think it will be the same as the last game, or will there be a few changes?
I would expect similar to Thursday, mainly because I'm not sure there's much alternatives. Regardless of what it'll be a very weak bench. It will probably have a couple of our academy lads on it because we have to make up with the bodies. We're still missing some of our game changers, I'd say. Charlie Webster's been out since, I think, November time. Not due back till February. I'm going to worry about him. Tyrese Shea is apparently back in training. I don't know what his level of fitness is to starting or playing. He might make on the bench. That would be his first return since the end of December. Hartridge, as I say, I think is still waiting for those stitches to come out, so he's not potentially available. So I would expect really the similar level to the one that played at Lincoln. Maybe a possibility of a change in midfield. I'm not quite sure where George Evans is at. He missed Thursday with a knock. Might come back for this. Otherwise, it's going to be a slightly light midfield again. We could do with Evans in there.
It's interesting you mentioned Charlie Webster there. Obviously, he's a player who's kind of stood out for you this season. How high do you think his ceiling is? You know, as a young lad, came through at Chelsea, wasn't it? So do you think he's got a high ceiling?
A very high ceiling. I think I'm saying this kind of touching wood rails. There's still a few days of the window left. I think his injury might mean we actually get to keep him to the end of the season, because it's been quiet. Maybe something comes in on deadline day now and he ends up going to the champ ahead of time. I get away with that, but it feels like we might keep him. And that's, as I said in the summer, is fine for me. We ultimately brought him in to be sold. He is just a level above. His game intelligence is so good. Just love how smart he is with his first touches, and he's good shooting from distance. He can pop shots off from 20, 25 yards. He's the most attacking midfielder in the team. You really do notice it when he's not in there, as we've found this last few months without him, and we don't want to get the results we have actually without him in there. It feels like the key man. I would hope he goes championship with his next move away, whatever that is. We've had a couple sold championship recently. He could be the same. Not entirely out of the question as a guy who's, I think, turns 22 in about 5 days' time. He could well find himself back in the top flight. It's difficult to call because League One and the Prem is such a massive gap. And sometimes players can go up to the championship and just kind of fall away into the dust and become quite average, haven't looked like stars previously. But there's a lot of excitement with the guy who it's unbelievable really to think that he's only born 2004. He's only 22 and he feels like already one of the League One stars, and he's got a catalogue of match winners for us that we're going to always enjoy looking back on.
Yeah. And that's what you want, right? When you get these young players from kind of Premier League academies who've kind of fallen down the food chain, you want to give them that platform. And it's always nice to have someone you can look back on fondly as they kind of progress through those tiers. I know we still hold on to Connor Bradley and James Trafford, albeit they were obviously only loans. But yeah, let's talk to players. Let's move on to player swap. So, Ed, I'm going to ask you the lovely question of if you could take one player from Bolton to put into your Burton team, who would it be and why?
I have two I'm torn between. I'm not going to go Coach Adu because that's just the basic answer, isn't it? I have loved Josh Sheehan for absolutely ages, even before he went to Bolton when he was at Newport. So I think he'd play in any midfield, certainly in Burton's midfield. I'd love that. But I'm going to go Max Conway, actually, because I do like the two wing backs we have. On the right-hand side, we have a guy, Karen Lofthouse, who's one of the bigger attacking assets in the team. He's a very strong player, loves to stand up to a guy one-on-one, drop the shoulder, and just get round them, and he can provide some good deliveries from the right. We haven't got an equivalent to that on the left, someone who's that level of athleticism in him. Jack Armour is a decent deliverer, but he has to start high with his starting position before he gets the ball. He's not someone who's going to get round a guy and put a ball in. I think Max Conway would be a bit more like that. And I like the idea of having two really athletic wing backs. And I think Conway in that team would be a really nice addition for us. So I'm going to go with him. Something different.
I think that's a great shout. Conway, he is hopefully our Charlie Webster, someone that we'll look at fondly on his time at the Reebok before he goes on to have a fantastic career at the top of the game, because he is a real talent and he really does drive with the ball from deep. So I think that's a great shout. If I had to steal from you guys and bring it into Bolton, I think I'd go for the obvious. As I said beforehand,
Jake Beasley.
Yeah, go for Jake Beasley. I know they're not the top 20 guys. Love to call him ex Cheesley, and he's a 6-yard a penalty box striker. I was doing some research today, and he's only had 3 of his 28 shots this season outside the box, albeit he scored 1, which isn't a bad ratio. But I think he's what Bolton need, someone who, is in the box when it matters. And I know you said he's a Duracell bunny and he's up and down, but it seems like he's.
I would also point out he came to us from Blackpool, and Blackpool fans basically celebrated him going because he just wasn't seen as really recognised the workhorse striker, but not really a goal scorer. It's been such a beautiful bit of recruitment getting him in because he's just found his goal scoring touch to a certain level. I still think he misses some sitters. Even now, and he's sat as, I think, one of the 10 highest scorers in the league. He's almost on double figures the goals this season. He's certainly on double figures the contributions. And it still feels like every game he'll drive a header wide of either post or miss some gilt-edged close range opportunity. So he's a bit of a fascinating character. The last couple of weeks, certainly without Shade or Webster in there, he's become the key asset in that team. And if you went another couple of games without him, we'd really notice it because he is absolutely the focal point of that front line.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're Dion Charles at his kind of pomp. Under Everett, you knew he had a good couple of misses in him, but you'd back him to still score when it mattered. Well, he didn't at Portsmouth, but that's by the by. So, yes, that is the end of Player Swap. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for your comments, and good evening to you all. As it's just been me, I've been focused on getting the mid-rolls going, not that I did at the start, hence why they've not been flashing up as regularly on the screen. But Get your scores in the chat now, and myself and Ed will give our predictions. So, Ed, there have not been any draws in this fixture over the last 4 games. Obviously, you gave us one hell of a hiding back in October with that 3-0, and it's taken me 25 minutes to bring it up, and you can probably understand why. It was a very humbling period for Bolton, losing 3-0 at Burton and then going on to lose away at Northampton at a time when we thought we could be challenging the top 2. So Burton still have the upper hand, head to head, 6 wins to 4. So how do you see this one going tomorrow?
I'm surprised you're still the upper hand. I feel like I've just seen us lose every year here for the last 20 years. If there was a while, it was an unbeaten record, which was nice. And then Bud Varson, of all people, ended up breaking that, didn't he? And he ended up playing for us. And he was great in our season we had last year. Oh, he's one we'll remember back fondly too. Now he's gone back to Iceland. Scoreline-wise, I just... until I see something different, I have to believe we're going to lose and not even get out of our own half. I'm just too used to seeing Burton go to Bolton and barely try to do anything at all. So I would expect there's a bit of quality here to break yourselves down. I would go with a 2-0 Bolton win for me. I think we just need to pull through this game with minimal damage and look ahead to some more favourable fixtures to come in February. Keep ourselves in the mix for now, which is okay.
But, that is the first time I've heard someone come on here and, predict that they won't get anything from the game.
I don't like predicting games. Don't do it.
I think, as you say, Leslie, there, in the chat, it's very unpredictable when we play Burton. We never know what we're going to get. And you just have to hope that Bolton come out firing. I'd love to sit here and say 4-0, but I think everybody who's watching and will be listening knows that's probably not going to happen.
4-0 would be great because you'd win the game on aggregate, wouldn't you? That's the season aggregate sorted for you. You've got to get at least 3 tomorrow, haven't you? Got to make the most of it.
I think I'm hoping that Mason Burstow, who, hadn't scored for 21 games before the weekend, I'm kind of hoping that goal will give him some confidence and we'll see him back to his best in front of goal. So I think I'll stick with you and go for 2-0. 2-0 to Bolton tomorrow. I'm hoping it's nothing like the Stevenage game a week last Tuesday, because that was 90 minutes of my life that I will never get back, which feels like something I'm saying far too often.
Can't decide if I'd want that or not. I'm trying to think now.
Honestly, I think you would rather lose than have a game as dull as that was last week. It'd be interesting to see whether Sheehan starts. I know there's been some comments tonight about whether he's going to be involved. Schumacher kind of set it up nicely with his injury at the weekend. There's obviously plenty of rumours around Aaron Morley and whether he could be staying beyond this transfer window. So it'll be very interesting to see how we line up tomorrow. I think most Bolton fans want an attacking lineup to really get at Burton and hopefully score early and force you guys to come out. Do you think that's something Gary would want if you went 1-0 down early, or do you think you'd sit in and continue to play your game until maybe 75, 80 minutes?
I'm trying to think of a way where we've fallen behind early. I can't really think of one. Really. I mean, there's 2 away games I haven't enjoyed a single minute of this season. That was New Year's Day at Reading and then the game on the 4th at Argyle. And that was just because we were so depleted. We had nothing. There was just... Beasley wasn't available. There was no front line. There just wasn't anything. You just knew you were going to lose them, and those 2 just cruised to wins. Apart from that, I felt like there's been an element of competitiveness in all the others. So I can't really answer what Bowie would do if we went 1-0 down in 5 minutes, because I've not really seen us do it. So we'll see.
I'm asking as if we would score 1 in the first 5 minutes, because we haven't for a long time. So yes, it will be very interesting to see how the game goes tomorrow. Ed, thank you very much for your time this evening. I appreciate you giving up your Monday night to talk the Burton.
What else are you going to do on a Monday apart from what the Fan Zone pod? Come on. Get your priorities.
Yeah, that is very true. That is why we have 102 of you listening live right now. Thank you very much. And a big shout out to our sponsors of the preview show, B2B Workwear and Janitorial. Find everything you need in the descriptions. So yeah, anything else to add, Ed, on the game tomorrow before we wrap up this evening?
I apologise now for how annoying we're going to make it to you lot. I have to do that every year when Burton come. I know. We'll bring about 100 tops. We'll spend most of the game defending. You'll probably have 90% possession and eventually break us down with a 92nd minute winner or something. So I'm sorry now. It's not me. I don't do it. It's the manager's tactics.
You know
Just
what?
Getting out of the way now. Getting this closure out of the way now.
If we can take 3 points, I don't care how it comes. As long as it's 3 points. Well, good luck tomorrow, Ed. And thank you, everybody, for listening and watching this evening. And again, apologies about the start of the show. And that kind of goes out to my colleagues on the fan zone. Poddy will be watching this back. But enjoy your Monday evening, everybody.
Yeah, well, boys are